of businesses and all that. So, well, we wait to see how it's going to pan out. But yes, very interesting, and of course, happy 1 year anniversary of this administration to all of us.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to another story now. I will tell you that 1.8 billion people around the world have the period every month. And out of this number, the World Bank still estimates that 500 million will struggle to access menstrual products or suitable facilities to manage their periods. Period poverty is a serious issue that continues to impact millions of women and girls worldwide. All
right, now this year's 10th Menstrual Hygiene Day with the theme #PeriodFriendly World calls on everyone to reflect on the urgent need for cultural change about periods, especially in Nigeria. Period poverty is a serious issue that continues to impact millions of women and girls worldwide. It has also expressed itself in an alarming situation in Nigeria, where at least 37 million girls and women are unable to afford menstrual hygiene products and must rely on sanitary alternatives such as cloth rags, leaves, or newspaper, leaving them exposed to infections and limited social mobility.
True. Interesting. I think that this is something that really needs to be talked about. I remember when I was in secondary school, this awareness has been long for a while. But joining us is now Ogum Ezedimbo, if I'm correct.
Yes, Ogum Ezedimbo. Yeah. And she's an advocate for the girl child and the convener of iPad U campaign. All right, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. Good morning.
All right, thank you very much. Let's start with us. How can we break the taboos associated with menstrual health in Nigeria?
When we talk about taboos, first of all, we look at cultural issues. That is actually the first thing to talk about. And in breaking that taboo, we have to talk about education. You have to educate these people because it comes from our tradition. When a woman is menstruating, some people tell them you don't pass through a certain door, you don't touch the plate, you don't touch that, you don't do this, you're dirty, you're sinful, and all of that. So if you don't have education, if you don't educate these people very well, we can't change all of that. Okay? We can't even. Sorry, just excuse me a moment, please. We can't change all of that. Okay?
All right. So, Ogum, if you can. All right, Ogum, continue.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. We have to make sure these people are well educated to understand that period is not a sickness. Period is what makes every girl, every woman, a woman. That's to show that you are reproductive. So why should we make this a bad thing in our community? Why should we make people believe that when you're on your period, you cannot go to a certain area? You have, if you want to change this whole idea of period being a taboo, the community leaders will have to come into the discussion. Religious leaders will have to come into the discussion. Boys and men will have to come into the discussion to ensure that everyone is well educated, to know that period is a natural thing. Hello, can you hear me?
All right, so Ogum, I'm wondering because a lot of people may not be able to relate, but what are some of the challenges that girls face in accessing menstrual products? As someone that's doing a project that has to do with maybe parting one girl child, so what are some of the challenges that girls face in accessing menstrual products? Well, I remember as a secondary school girl and the experiences that people share, and so many years after that, you still hear that up to 37 million women, those girls and mothers, still find it difficult to have a proper menstrual hygiene, and like you really bother about it. But of course, with what we have, with the current economic situation, you will understand that it's real. I mean, when your sanitary towels goes from maybe 400 naira to now 1,007, and it's like, okay, so maybe people who could afford it when it was 400 now would have to look for alternative options. Ogo, welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you. I think that we were having network issues. I was talking about cost, okay? The last time I did a distribution of pads on the 27th of May. I did one in March. And when I bought the one in March, I bought a carton for 9,000 naira. So March, April, May, that's 2 months apart. And I bought another one for the same pad for 14,000 naira. So you can imagine the difference between March and
well, like she's saying, and like the experiences also are, many people would be counting.
Continue.
Ogo.
Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
So we're talking about cost, right? Now we have the issues of availability. Okay, some young girls can't have access to this pad, especially those at the grassroots. You still find young girls using pieces of clothes. You still find young girls using tissues during their monthly cycle. They don't have access to it at all. So that's why we're asking that these things should be made affordable. These things should be made accessible. It's not a difficult thing, I tell you. It is not a difficult thing. It's just that will to make it done. And if we have that will and passion to make sure that all our girls are safe, because the truth of the matter is, when your menstrual cycle is not hygienic, there are health challenges that can come in the future. We talk about reproductive issues. We talk about urinary tract infections. All of this can even make a woman to be infertile in future. So if we don't make all of this accessible, clean water, clean bathroom for them to wash up, a disposable can for them to throw their pads away, soap to wash their hands when they are done, before and after they are done, in the nearest future, we'll have a lot of health challenges to deal with.
Okay, I totally understand. As someone who has a younger sister, of course, mother, so I can actually understand these challenges that you've just enumerated. But, access to this product and services is just one of a complex set of challenges that contribute to period poverty. How can these be changed? Because we really need to look into this.
We have to change our orientation. We have to make sure these parts are subsidized, or better to give them for free. When you go to parties of well-to-do Nigerians, when you see the bottles of champagne they put on their table, they tell you how much that will cost. That can give a whole community of young girls pads for 1 year. We have to find a way to make these companies who produce this pads and make them tax-free. We have to look for a way to change our policies to make it fit into what we are doing. The truth of the matter is, I think we don't really understand what period is about. Because it's a choice if I want to have sex and if I want to have sex with or without a condom. But it's not a choice for me to have my monthly period. It is something that has to be done. So we have to look for a way to subsidize this pads or give them out for free. And we can do it if we want to do it.
All right. And, when you talk about hygiene, safer periods, I'm wondering what do these things consist of? When you say safer hygiene during a menstrual period, what do they consist of? And how can we have access to better hygienic and safer spaces for women and girls in schools, workplaces, and the communities generally? I walk into a mall. How do I ensure, that there's a safe, hygienic space for me if I am on my period?
I think that
This is very.
it's a very sensitive issue. I think women, that part of the month is always very critical, and access to these products are also very critical. And if you look at the difference in what you buy for 400 now and it's being sold for how much did you say?
Yeah, well, 1.7. I mean, there. Of course, I'm just giving, but so you're, and then you're looking at. So sometimes even producing in Nigeria, does it make the price come down and all that? Let's say I'm not going for foreign products, so it's a whole lot. And we'll be wondering, can there be alternative or cheaper options in all of this? If they say rags, newspapers can't work. Welcome back, Ogo.
We have a seriousness of it here.
Okay, so go on.
Morning. Yes, I was talking about our sanitary facilities, making it clean, and not just for that moment. It has to be regularly clean, okay? Then we have to have disposable bags where these young girls or women, when they finish changing, they can wrap it properly and then dispose. And then we have clean water, not dirty water, running water with soap, so you wash your hands afterwards. That's it. It's not a difficult thing to make places clean for women to use. All we need to do is to enforce some policies and some programs to ensure that all the public toilets are accessible for women to make it hygienic.
All right, and this discussion, it's, like you said, it's very sensitive. It brings a whole lot of memories in a head, and how sometimes you can go to public places like, let's say I walk into the maybe Mushid Abiola Stadium at the moment, and I would have to change my sanitary towel. Am I very sure that I can find a place to place my bag, trust it, and do the changes I need to? So these are some of the things we're looking at. Welcome back once again, Ogo.
Okay. So I just want to ask you, how can we stop the reduction of
poverty period?
Period. How can we do it? Period poverty. How can we reduce it? I think, because we actually wanted to get her opinion on this, it is very critical that we do. I was saying that it is a sensitive one. Now I also understand why, during that period, there's a lot of mood swings. There's a lot of, when women pass through all this process, you don't even have access to it. When you now have access to it, at what range did you have access to? So there's a lot of it to talk about when it comes to having access to sanitary.
Yeah, and of course for different people it happens in different ways. So there are people who would have like the cramps, so it's painful, but then you can't go about. It's like when you're having flu and then it's making you very uncomfortable. And you're telling people I have flu, but they don't get it. They're like, yes, it's flu, but you know what you're going through. So you can't go about telling everybody, I have cramp and all that. So sometimes it's also the fact that no one really understands, what you're going through, and like nobody caused it. So there's nobody to be angry at, but you just know that you have this discomfort and you can't help it. So it's quite a lovely period.
I think so. When we come back from this break, we'll have more for you on Live from Abuja. Togano will be right back.
Life is politics. In Nigeria, almost every part of our lives is touched by the politics we play. Governance, legislative matters, the economy, security, foreign affairs, internal affairs. Have a feel as strategic plays in the political space determine how we live in Nigeria. The players, the drama, chess piece moves. Be kept informed Watch analysis of major happenings in the political space and how it affects you. Watch Politics on Sunday.
Okay, I heard Ogum is back. So on a final note, I was asking that how do we reduce poverty period? Yes, exactly.
That period poverty. Yes, first of all, period poverty, let me explain what it is when a woman or a girl cannot access pads or any other product just at that point that she needs them. Now, we have to look into local manufacturing. We have to see how we can help our local manufacturers to produce. Remember, some of the people who were into production of pads left the country because we had issues with our economy, so we have to look inward. The local manufacturers will have to look for ways to support them. The taxes are high. We can exempt them from paying taxes, so we can have this. And then secondly, individuals, politicians, when it's time for your election, you come and tell us that this is what to do, we have to vote for you, have to do this. What have you done for our young girls? We should start from there, because if we have to make our community period friendly, these are the things we need to look into. And that's what we are preaching this year: period friendly environment, period friendly world. If we want to make our community friendly when it comes to supporting women, you have to give it to them. You, as I'm talking to you, that's even asking me questions. Have you ever given a lady a pad before?
All right, thank you very much, Ogum. Thank you for your contribution.
I'm asking you, have you supported a lady with a pad before? Because it has to start from you. Hello?
All right, thank you for your time on the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And now let's go to headline news. President Bola Tinubu reverted to the whole national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. 48 years after it was dropped for Arise, O Call Patriot. Tinubu signed the bill into law after Senate and the House of Representatives previously passed the legislation at separate sittings.
And also, President Bola Tinubu announced that Nigerians and other commuters would enjoy free train rides on the Abuja Metro line until the end of the year. The president made this declaration while flagging off the relaunch of commercial operations on the Abuja Light Rail.
Interesting one. And the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative has announced the commencement of the nationwide mass transit conversion program with a 50% discount. The initiative aims to convert mass transit vehicles to cleaner energy sources, significantly reducing emissions and promoting environmental sustainability.
And the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoide, disclosed that the commission secured 3,175 convictions and recovered 156,276,691,242 naira 30 kobo between the 29th of May 2023 and the 29th of May 2024.
And in business, the foreign exchange market, Naira, has appreciated against the dollar by 0.7% during the week.
Outside Nigeria, South Africa held a national election Wednesday that could be the country's most hotly contested in 30 years, with the long-ruling African National Congress Party facing a stern test to hold onto its majority.
And Israeli forces took control of a buffer zone along the border between Gaza Strip and Egypt. The country's military said on Wednesday, giving Israel effective authority over the Palestinian territory entire land border. Israel has continued deadly raids on Rafah in southern Gaza, despite an order from the International Court of Justice to end attacks on the city, where half of Gaza's 2.3 million people had previously taken refuge.
Iran has opened a 5-day registration period for hopefuls wanting to run in the June 28 presidential